Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to address the body on House Bill 5958. Many in the public have characterized this bill as a license to discriminate. And I don't think that we should find that surprising given the history and the wide variety of religious views and behaviors here in the United States of America and all around the world. And while many religions preach love and tolerance and the oneness of humankind, not all religions live up to those best impulses of human interaction. In fact, some religions have preached hate, some religions have preached war, some religions have preached discrimination, and we don't need to look any further than the history of our own nation and our relationship with slavery to know that the awful institution of slavery was justified by biblical references, that the KKK was organized under religious auspices, that other white supremacist groups continue to utilize biblical passages to justify their hatred and discrimination and violence. And so it shouldn't be surprising to this body and to the leadership of this body who's pushing this bill that some folks may brand this bill as a license to discriminate. People are justifiably concerned that the protections from prosecution afforded by this act will be used to provide a shield for citizens who may otherwise want to break our laws in other ways that may somehow comport with their religious beliefs. Right? Whether it's parents denying medical treatment that is absolutely necessary to save the life of a child, whether it's individuals who may not want to do business with someone because they represent the views of a different religion. All of these concerns are going to be in play if the state of Michigan adopts this RFRA. And I don't think I need to point out to anyone here, because I know that most of you are adherents of some sort of faith, that just about every religion has exclusivity as a key component of the club bylaws. The first rule in the Christian faith is thou shalt have no God before me. So what would prevent someone using that very first rule of Christianity to say, I don't want to do business with or provide service to or do my job for the state if it's in service of a citizen of another religion? Because I don't believe in that. I don't think that's too far-fetched in the context of the language, the very broad, expansive language that we're considering today. So there may be members here who think this is all about making sure that bakers don't have to bake cakes for gay weddings, but it's much broader than that. I mean, what if we have a social worker in the Veteran Affairs Department who is a avowed pacifist? Maybe they're a Quaker or some other religion that believes that killing people is wrong, and they say, I'm not going to counsel veterans because of my sincerely held beliefs of pacifism. What if we have a science teacher who insists, because of their sincerely held religious beliefs, that they're going to teach their students that the earth is 6,000 years old? In the face of all facts. Now, you may think these are far-fetched, but these types of claims are going on right now in other states that enjoy these types of statutory protections for religious liberties that are very well protected by our U.S. Constitution. In Texas, there was recently a case where local laws that prevented animal sacrifice were not allowed under this Texas RFRA because of individuals who wanted to practice Santeria. We have in New York public buses that are segregated by gender because of people's sincerely held religious beliefs that men and women cannot mix. This is the very real road we're going down. These are real examples. And when people say they're worried that this is a license to discriminate, it only punctuates that worry when amendments are offered and defeated that would stipulate clearly that this RFRA is not intended to provide a shield for racial or religious or gender-based discrimination. Those amendments were offered, they were offered in committee, they were offered on the floor, and they were defeated, which I think only punctuates the concern about this becoming a license to discriminate. The other big problem with this law that I want to bring out, because I think that it might fall upon the ears of avowed conservatives in a way that is compelling, is that one of my biggest concerns about this Religious Rights Restoration Act is that it puts government into the role of deciding which religious beliefs are bona fide and which religious beliefs fall too far out of the mainstream to get the protection of our laws and our courts, right? So, we're going to have situations where Catholic doctrine is respected by judges, but maybe Rastafarians aren't. This has happened. We might get Baptists have protection under the law, but Satanists, they might be a little too dodgy to pass muster with a locally elected judge. Hindus may get accommodations in the workplace, but Jains may be just a little bit too far out of the public consciousness to be able to be considered sincerely held religious beliefs and to pass the sort of tests that other courts have put in front of people, tests like, where's your church? There aren't a lot of Jain churches here in the United States. So those are the two big problems with this law. It creates a license to discriminate, and it puts government in the uncomfortable role of having to decide which religions are acceptable and which religions are not acceptable. That is the height of government power. That is putting government into our religious lives in ways that is inappropriate and unconstitutional. And I would submit to you that what you're trying to do here is you're trying to breathe some additional life into the part of the First Amendment that deals with free exercise of religion. You're trying to make sure that individuals can freely exercise their religion. But what you're doing while trying to breathe some additional life into the free exercise portion of the First Amendment, you're damaging and diminishing the establishment clause, the establishment portion of the First Amendment that says that the state is not supposed to be sanctioning and approving and disapproving various religious views. That is exactly the third rail that our founders wanted us to avoid. So in closing, I oppose the bill because it's a license to discriminate. I oppose the bill because it's going to raise a raft of creative and costly expenses that the state, expensive lawsuits that the state is going to have to engage in and prosecute and participate in and defend. But most of all, I oppose this bill because it puts government in the role of deciding which religions are bona fide and which religions are not.
Thank you, Representative. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of final passage of House Bill 5958, there are 59 aye votes and 50 nay votes.
The majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.